Welcome to 1 Minute Theatre Reviews. I'm Paul Seven Lewis and I'm reviewing Sleepless at the Troubadour Theatre in Wembley Park. If you're worried that a musical couldn't possibly do justice to the film Sleepless in Seattle, then don't be. Sleepless, starring Jay McGuiness and Kimberley Walsh at the Troubadour Theatre in Wembley Park, does pretty much all you would hope from it, and more. Okay, Jay McGuiness and Kimberley Walsh are not Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, but what makes Hollywood stars great is their ability to convey their thoughts and feelings through their faces, in close-up. And as the composer Alan Menken said, songs in a musical substitute for close-ups when it comes to revealing character. And the songs by Robert Scott and Brendan Cull in Sleepless are both charming and do the job. Jay McGuiness and Kimberley Walsh perform well, especially Ms. Walsh as Annie, who is the full package of acting, singing and dancing. Mr. McGuiness as Sam is also impressive and very likeable, though I felt his inexperience as an actor showed a little bit in the more emotional moments. Now you remember the plot, but just in case, a widower in Seattle can't sleep, and his son gets him on a late-night radio show to talk about his situation. He's heard by a journalist in Baltimore, and she's one of many thousands who are moved by what he said. He receives a letter from her. She invites him to meet her at the top of the Empire State Building on Valentine's Day. Now, if you haven't seen the film, I won't give away the ending. Maybe I already have. Anyway, that's the 1 minute review. Keep watching for more about Sleepless, a musical romance. That subtitle, A Musical Romance, is interesting because this is not only a romantic musical, it's a romance about musicals. Just as Nora Ephron's movie, although set in 1993, harks back to the films of the 1950s, and in particular An Affair to Remember, starring Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr. Or is it Carr? This musical also harks back to the musicals of that time. The costumes by Sue Simmerling are technicoloured, and there's a joy in language in Michael Burdette's book. And just as the film has a soundtrack of songs from the swing jazz era, the songs here are a homage to the hits of that time. You can almost hear Frank Sinatra singing some of them. Now, you may be aware that I've been doing a podcast history of stage musicals for Box Office Radio, so I've been steeped in the very best of the so-called golden age of musicals. And while this may not have the depths of South Pacific or the heights of Gypsy, Sleepless is an uplifting musical, and the creator's love of that period really comes across. Where Sleepless falls down is that it sticks too closely to the plot of the film. The first half is all about setting up for the second half, and while that's quite normal in a musical, Sam's sleeplessness problem might have been solved if we watched this first act late at night. It really needed an additional subplot, or at least some dancing to spice up the proceedings. Actually, I was probably naive to expect the show to be sprinkled with dance numbers, but, you know, it does star two Strictly alumni, and also it's a long time since I went to a musical that didn't feature a lot of dancing. I mean, there is some smooth jazz-style walking from the chorus, and the odd moment where emotion is expressed through movement, including a delightful comedy duet between Sam's son and his friend. But the only, what I'd call proper dance, is during the curtain call, when our two stars show that they still remember their Strictly moves. There's good support from Daniel Casey as Annie's dull fiancé, and the splendid Harriet Thorpe as her mother. Tania Mathurin as her extrovert friend Becky, and Cory English as Sam's friend Rob, a new character, inject a healthy dose of comedy. The set, designed by Morgan Large, evokes Sam's job as an architect by using back projections of architectural drawings and by building this skeleton of a multi-purpose structure centre stage with lots of vertical and horizontal lines. Morgan Young directs this most enjoyable show, and I give it 3 stars. Before I go, a word about the producers, Michael Rose and Damien Saunders. I can't praise them enough, or indeed thank them enough, for giving audiences starved of live theatre the chance to see this lovely musical. Even though at 30% capacity because of social distancing, they can't possibly be making any money out of it. And well done to the Troubadour for their exemplary COVID-safe precautions. I hope you found this review interesting. If you want to be the first to know about my new reviews and other videos about theatre, please subscribe. There's a link somewhere down there. And if you'd like to study the written version of my review, please visit my website, oneminutetheatreReviews.co.uk. And perhaps you'd like to hear my podcast on the history of stage musicals in 10 decades. If you would, you'll find it on the box office radio section of MixCloud.com. Thank you for watching.